What up, what up, what up, what up, world? A tap. I'm Khepresh for the Millionaires Crew Club. Today, we have the wonderful, intelligent, artful Eshe Morse. What's up? How you feel?
Peace. I feel really good. Thank you for having me on.
It's such an honor to have you, and most importantly, to have your genius before us, as far as what you do, and just
hmm
the energy that you kick out on the interwebs and in the real life. And it's just a blessing to be in your presence today.
Oh,
So I'm gonna let you say your name and where you're
okay.
from.
Okay. Well, my name is Eshe Morse, Eshe Naira Morse, and I'm from Chesapeake, Virginia, 757.
Uh-oh.
Mhm.
VA.
VA.
VA, VA. So Eshe. What inspired you to start the career that you do? I'm rocking her stuff, you
Yes.
know, beats too, keep it fresh. What made you want to start this career? Please state the name of your company
Okay.
and where people can find you at also.
Oh, yeah, awesome. Well, first, my company is called Dreamy Beads by Eshe Artz with the Z, LLC. You can find me at dreamybeads.com. And I'm also on Instagram. Of course, it's called Dreamy Pisces 80. So look me up, check out my stuff. I have a lot of really great items up there. But as far as what inspired me to do this, I've always been a very creative person. I've always loved creativity, but I've always been in the workforce, working corporate jobs. I was in corporate for 9 years doing human resources. And in 2013, my life drastically changed. I went through a spiritual awakening and everything changed about me. And so, about a year later, I was outside meditating and sun gazing, just trying to come in contact with myself. And when I was doing that, a vision popped into my mind about a bracelet. And I was like, it was so vivid. It was really a divine inspiration. And I had my notebook there because I would do my journaling outside and I started sketching it because it was just so, it was a download. So I started sketching it out and I said, well, that was really heavy. So I want to build on this. So I went and I purchased the materials that I needed. I created this amazing, back then it was a wrap bracelet that went around the arm like 5 times and with some beautiful beads. And when I was finished, I just kind of looked at it. I'm like, oh my God, I made this. And it was so beautiful. And I was overwhelmed with joy and just, it felt right to me. So from there, I was like, maybe I can kind of turn this into a thing. Like I said, at that time, I was a human resources representative at social services. So that's not really the most creative position, but this made my heart sing. And so from there, I just started making jewelry and I started out selling it to my coworkers and to my family. And I remember I was in a staff meeting one day and I was supposed to be paying attention and doing the minutes for the meeting. And I looked around and almost everybody in the boardroom had on a bracelet that I made. And I was like, oh my God, it hit me. And I was like, I don't want to just keep playing around with this. I want to make it real because everybody was rocking the beads. I wasn't even focused on the meeting. I'm just like, oh my God. So from there, I just kept going. And that was back in 2014. So we're in 2021 and I'm still in it. And I have really perfected my craft. I feel, everything's very polished. I put a lot of heart and soul and love into my creations. And I always say, if someone says, what's your purpose? My purpose is to provide beauty, love, and healing in a world of chaos. That's what I do. That's what my brand represents.
I like it, and I also really like the fact that you were able to have that vision download and take action, right? Because
Mhm.
a lot of times, what I've observed in life, people have visions, but they never take action. And
Yeah.
therefore, their inaction has caused them to lose like a activity in life, right? They
Mhm.
lose their way in life. So I really want to like etch that out, like to the people listening, of course. When you have those visions, those dreams, those like cosmic moments, that
Yes.
is universal action for you to take right there. That's you
Mhm.
becoming the savior of yourself, kind of thing, and not waiting. You know, the thing that you were waiting for has now presented itself to you.
Yes.
So I just want to put that out there. So when you hear people say, "Oh, I had this vision," and boom, it doesn't become anything if they don't take action. You know, so I
Exactly.
really thought that was cool, down to the fact you're in a meeting and you could just see your product, your brand on other people.
Mhm.
That's ultimate like third eye, high frequency level, knowing where you want to go and actually doing the work to get there. So
Yes.
that is really really cool, really really cool. And thanks
Mhm.
for sharing that part, that aspect of your life, and just the longevity of you doing it.
Mhm.
Because everybody, you know, we're not kinda, we are in a microwave society.
Mhm.
So a lot of people lack authenticity, meaning they come out today, they already have the Bentley and the private jet. And I go, wow, that was quick.
Right.
Everybody I know with the Bentley and private jet, it took them like 7 to 15 years, sometimes
Yep.
7 to 20 years.
Long time.
Long time. And then people think they can shortcut their success and be happy, but they didn't master the character of their brand,
Mhm.
of their success. So it's
Right.
really hard for them to keep it. So
Absolutely.
next question, if you had to think of it, what two books and would you recommend for others to read, and why?
Yeah, I have an extensive book collection because I really enjoy reading and taking in knowledge, feeding my mind, feeding my heart and my soul. That's been a big part of this journey towards myself, was feeding myself information, turning the TV off and taking in this divine inspiration from others. And as a matter of fact, I have a couple nearby. Um, Two of them. This one is called The African Personality Lubrication for Liberation. And it says, Can African People Get Along? And it's a primer on conflict management. I'll show you if you could see it. That's what it looks like.
Who's the author?
The author, it's an interesting name. It's Fundi Sanyika and YZA.
It's
And I
probably,
can send you,
yeah,
I can
send that to
send
me.
you this.
It's probably
But
pronounced Fundi in
Fundi,
Yasa.
yes. Fundi, yes, yes.
Add
I
the
butchered that name.
African base to your tongue. Fundi in Yasa.
Yes, there you go. But this is amazing. It's a tiny book. It's really small, but it's so powerful because what it's talking about is conflict resolution. And I feel like in our community, that's something that we're really lacking because we've always been like taught to be dramatic and I'm gonna match your energy and all of this foolishness. Like, that's not what we need to be doing. We need to learn if someone is coming at us aggressive, we have to learn how to bring that down, calm that energy so that we can communicate. And if you don't mind, I just wanted to read just a little bit out of
Go
the
for it.
book.
This is your time. I just wanted to jump in
Yeah.
when she mentions about calming the situation down. I call that mastering your presence in space.
Oh,
Right?
okay. I
So
like
it's
that.
called mastering your presence. So
Mm-hmm.
from a comedic standpoint, just real quick, just I'm just gonna be in Saul. I'm a walking king. I don't have to say much. My presence is enough to quell a conflict because my knowledge and
Yes.
my spirit is enough. So I think that might be going into that direction. And that's also something that I teach the youth, mastering their presence. But I'm gonna let you read that. I just wanted to put that out there.
No, that's
That might
perfect.
be a simpler way to express what she's about to express for the people.
Yeah, and it's certain it's for it to be such a tiny book, it's packed with so many different tips It even has role-playing exercises. And this type of book is going to be good not just for organizations, but it's good for your relationship, it's good for your family. It's just awesome. So just real quick, it says that nation building requires more than correct recitation of the Nguza Saba and proper flag etiquette. And basically what they're saying is a lot of times in, I feel, the conscious community, everybody kind of dresses up and they play their part with, you know, the different flags and, you know, even different clothing and things like that. But it has to be a heart and mind transformation that's expressed through our energy, through our speech, to
Eshe,
create this.
just to jump right in, not to cut you off on that.
Mhm,
Just want to explain. So, there's something called the conscious community, that really deals with like black liberation, or
mhm,
like black thought, think, community, think kind of thing,
mhm,
that you can find on like YouTube, et cetera, et cetera. It's about uplifting black people,
mhm,
globally. It's like a pan-Africanism that happens, trying to connect us in America, us in the continent, us in Europe, or in the Caribbean, um, to better ourselves. And that's really the goal of the conscious community for those who don't know. And what she's stressing is something like, sometimes I have a hard time, like I'm actually comedic by initiation and practice. So you
mhm,
get people who just study like Kemet, or what you call Egypt, and they'll use a Kemetic name, but when it comes to like Kemetic traditional things like following Ma'at or whatever, they'll call it spookism, but then they'll use it to fight against Christians or Muslims and things of that nature. So we kind of talking about people not having the right heart center and right mentality, or maybe to simplify what she's saying, the character of discipline to actually do what they speak upon on a daily basis. I think that's where we're
mhm.
going with that, and I'm just adding that in, and I'm gonna let you continue.
Oh no, that's perfect. Because as a matter of fact, one of the points that came up, and it was the first point, was self-discipline. And it says self-discipline, particularly when others are speaking, you know. So for instance, we can have a dialogue where it's an exchange back and forth. We don't have to debate. We don't have to loud talk each other. I can listen to you. You can listen to me. That's a great form of conflict resolution, you know, because when we're all, you know, aggressive, nobody's being heard, as we know. Also, another one is to not assume, not assume that we're being wrong, because a lot of times we automatically have these negative thoughts. And instead of assuming that someone wants to harm us or something like that, we can go to the person and have a conversation. And a lot of times that will alleviate a lot of the issues, but we create these like imagination in our own mind. And that's a whole nother thing. Um,
Absolutely, because the cause of most injuries, just to add in
mhm,
to what you're saying, is negative imagination. A lot of human beings have very negative imagination,
mhm,
and
yes.
we all have suffered situations of that. I'll just tell you a quick story, then I'll let you continue. I'm
Okay.
literally just trying to have dinner, make a meeting, and somebody think I didn't wave. I didn't come greet them at the bar when they waved. But my tunnel vision, I didn't even allow myself to see them.
Mhm.
They thought I was trying to play them while they were in a group of people, and I wasn't. I was just running behind on my time, so my vision was tunnel. But that person didn't speak to me for like 5 years behind that. But go on.
See?
And I
Yeah, but
didn't even know they were in the place at the time.
something so simple,
Yeah.
and where they could have came up to you and said, "Hey, what's
Right.
good?"
Right.
And that wouldn't have never happened. But you know, these are lessons that we have to learn, not to assume. So another one is self-confidence, enthusiasm, and eagerness to cooperate, balanced with calmness, modesty, and humility. We can have assertiveness without aggressiveness. So, you know, sometimes I feel like people may think that when we talk about having a humbleness, they automatically look at that as maybe being weak, but it really isn't. Having a humble and calm, focused energy, that's so powerful. That's powerful because when we get into aggression, even though that blaring energy might seem powerful, but it's really very erratic and it's chaos. It's chaos. And that means that you have really lost your cool and you're being controlled by something else. So, we can work on just communicating a little bit better. And it's okay to be assertive, but you don't necessarily have to chop people down, when you're being assertive to get your point across. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
And I would like
It
to
can
just
all.
add
Mhm,
in to you. There's different levels of humility.
mhm,
Humility doesn't mean to be a doormat. There's levels to humility. And I
right.
think wise people have different levels to their humility.
Mhm,
And
I agree.
knowing when to be humble, when to recognize your elder, even though you're human equals, but you're not wisdom equals, to listen, to
Mhm,
understand when a child is trying to give you a jewel or ask you a question to add to your jewel, to be humble enough to look at the child and be like, that is a very good question.
yeah.
So I think humility can come in a myriad of forms, but no way are
Mhm,
we talking about being a doormat. Like what I've realized, people have a problem with words like humility, discipline, and sacrifice. It's
mhm,
interesting, but those seem to be the three major um, pieces. But I'm gonna let you continue. I thought that was a great
mhm.
point.
Yeah, I feel like another word that people have a issue with is submissiveness,
Yeah,
but it's levels to that as well, but it triggers a negative response. But my last point out of the book that I thought was really, really good was they said like when people have this individualistic attitude, they're not really thinking about the whole, they're thinking about their self. It's like, I'm staying in my own lane, I'm gonna do my own thing. Nobody can tell me what to do, I'm grown. Like, that type of stance. I'll do it when I feel like it. And if I can't get my way, I quit mentality. Like all of that really has to be thrown out, even in the family, organization, or relationship, because that really is childlike behavior. That's not behavior of maturity. That's what children do. But unfortunately, in our community, we have a lot of adults that do still hold on to childlike natures that need to be, they can be transformed, but one has to be willing to go on that journey towards the self to say, hey, do I have that attitude? That's one thing that I did. I really had to check myself on a lot of things, from my past, how, I was brought up and just things that I picked up along the way. And that's where we do self-realization and we say, hey, why am I conducting myself like that? Why am I saying these things? You have to ask yourself. And then if you realize that it's not really balanced, okay, how can I change it? It's always just like a step-by-step process. So I just think that this is a dope book. Um,
definitely.
for
Say the name again for the people.
Yeah, it's called The African Personality Lubrication for Liberation. And it is about conflict resolution. And it's amazing. Everybody should have it because we really do have to learn how to get along with each other on the smallest of, of communicating. We have to we can do better. I know we can do better, but this book gives some great tips.
And when you
Mhm.
study like the history of like the civil rights movement, that's pretty much the decay of the whole thing. That's
Yeah.
pretty much the decay of all, maybe not even just black organizations, but pretty much all organizations throughout history.
Mhm.
Somebody just goes like this: I'm only getting 70% and you're getting 73%. I'm just gonna let the whole thing just go.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think that's good. Definitely pick that up. That sounds like an excellent read, and it'll help us navigate through a lot of the I guess the I'm still young. Somebody called me young OG, but the younger gods who are moving on demon time. Conflict
Mhm.
resolution is key, not just for them, but just also for our age group and even some of our elders to let things go.
Yes.
Proper conflict resolution allows you to stay dutiful. And I
Mm-hmm.
think, like being comedic, the number one thing is to be dutiful, not
Mm-hmm.
emotional, but to handle your duties. It's like the sun.
Yes.
If the sun got upset watching everybody and just decided not to rise for a few days, we begin to die, and that's pretty much what begins to happen. And,
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying this in the aspect of most people allow situations that are not severe to take them off their duty. Meaning,
Mm-hmm.
nobody killed your kid, nobody killed your mom, nobody killed your spouse, nobody
Right.
stole millions of dollars from you, and nobody tried to kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, if you think about those 4 or 5 things, those wasn't done. Nobody tried to kidnap you, burn your house down, stop you from growing or elevating. Then a lot of stuff can be water under the bridge. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really true. We treat minor infractions as extreme ones, and that has to stop because people are acting like all infractions is the ultimate peril. Oh, I am me, so you should have texted me back. What you mean? My mom is in the hospital. I'm not texting you back. You got other things
Right.
to do. Like life happens. But I
Mm-hmm.
didn't like disrespect you or anything like that. But if you feel that way, cool. So like
Right.
we definitely need conflict resolution. All
We do.
right.
We do.
What's the
We
second
do.
one? I'm excited
So
about
this
this.
the another book that I really love, and this is one I even listen to this on audiobook all the time. But it's the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Wow.
Um, it's another tiny book. It's small, but it's so powerful. It's just, I mean, and it's, I'm telling you, every time I listen to it, I feel like I get something new from it. And it's such simple principles, but it's so impactful. And I know I mentioned about, assumptions, but my one that really always hits me right here is the don't make assumptions. I'm kind of saying, but I love the way that he, did a short paragraph. If you don't mind, I'll read that real quick and just elaborate on it because it really touched my heart. But this is going to be in it's the third agreement. Don't make assumptions. This is the third agreement is don't make assumptions. We have the tendency to make assumptions about everything. The problem with making assumptions is that we believe that they are true. We could swear that they're real. We make assumptions about what others are doing or thinking. We take it personally. It says, and then we blame them and react by sending out emotional poison with our word to them. But it's not just an emotional word, we're telepathically sending out negative messages to them. And people really have to understand one, when we're speaking these words, we're speaking magic spells. Of course, it's our word is like a wand, it's like a magic wand. So when we come in contact with a situation and we assume the worst, a lot of times it's not even what it was. It's a traumatic experience from our past that's replaying in our mind. We create a movie scenario and then we either lash out at someone or we will telepathically stew over the situation. And we don't know that we're sending them poison with this assumption. And again, conflict resolution. Instead of doing all of that, we literally can go to them and just say, hey, were you feeling like that? Or did you mean to say it like that? Or you kind of said it a certain type of way. It made me feel some type of way. Did you have an attitude? And more than likely, that person's going to say, no, it wasn't even like that. Like
Right.
you were explaining your situation. It wasn't even like that. And you say, oh, okay. And then you move forward. Or you end up not talking to somebody for 5 years, like you
Right.
said.
Nah,
Um,
it happened. I just want to say, yo, shout out to my homegirl Claudia. I'm very happy you just brought your new house out in Texas. She gave me that book, The Four Agreements, back in,
ah,
I'm
wonderful.
gonna say, was it 2012 or something like that? When 2012, 2013. So yeah, I had
Mm-hmm,
that on the. I've read that like twice. I really enjoyed
mm-hmm,
it. That's definitely you need to have that in your catalog, folks. Short
for
read
sure.
for sure, for sure. But
Mm-hmm,
I like where you're going with this, your thought process. No, because it's very heart centered,
mm-hmm,
and I just wanted to speak upon. So when she was stating about the thought of a matter being sent out. All thoughts become a thing.
Mm-hmm.
The longer you sit on it, the longer you nurse it. Meaning this computer, laptop, or whatever we're in front of, phone, that was a thought in somebody's head. They were like, I wonder if blah, blah, blah. And they just kept sitting on it. Then they started writing it down, spelling it out.
Right.
Because everything always starts with the spell, whether
Yes.
spoken or written. Then it just starts formulating. It'd be like, well, I can use this metal. This is when the alchemy takes over. I'm gonna use this metal, this chip thing to make it. So all thoughts will eventually become a solid state of being the longer you nurse
Absolutely.
them. So just to simplify it for the folks out there a little.
Mm-mm-mm. Manifesting.
Yeah.
You can manifest good or bad with your thoughts. What you think will become real. So, it's so many other, of course, there's 3 other agreements in, the book that's awesome, but such as be impeccable with your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it.
Yeah.
That's just that. We don't have to make a whole lot of excuses. Don't take anything personally. Love that one. And, always do your best. Don't make assumptions. And then they kind of start to wrap it up with breaking old agreements. And that's what we have to do, breaking old, whether it's spells, whether it's quote unquote the generational curses, whatever it is, just that deep rooted trauma that has just attached itself to our heart center. All of that stuff got to be chopped, and
Like it.
discarded.
And
And
just to
we
speak on the generational curses, I see
hmm
that a lot on the interwebs, of course. And
hmm
I just want people to know it has a lot, it has nothing to do with money. I know
hmm
that sounds crazy. From
hmm
like you're on a Millionaires Crew Club, we're about investments and money over here and handling business, but no amount of money is going to stop that bloodline piss poor character until you begin to correct it.
absolutely.
So I
hmm
just want to put that out there because I see a lot of posts and people be like, I invested into Bitcoin and I've made generational change. And you kind of be like, no, you just accumulated a tool because money's a tool, folks. It's not the end goal. It's just a tool.
Right. hmm
It's cool to have. Money's good, but
It is.
it is not the end goal. And
hmm
it's not going to make your family life happier, by the way.
hmm Yeah. Money's not the healer. The
Exactly.
healing is it's up in here.
Yeah.
It's up in here. That's what it is.
So that they say in ancient text there's three brains.
Mm.
Your stomach, you feel everything in your stomach even before you feel it in your heart. A lot of people don't
So
think
true.
like that. That's why your first love, you get the butterflies in your stomach, then you start feeling
hmm
it in your heart, and then you start
Right.
imagining everything in your mind. So you got to work on those three, get those three together, and that's really what breaks the generational curses and correcting certain problems within your family stops generational curses and committing to your duty in this time frame. Meaning, if your mother was supposed to write a book, you have the ability to write the book, begin to write that book because it's going to add to your bloodline. That's doing stuff like
Yes.
that actually breaks the generational curse, not just making big money. Just wanted to put that out
Absolutely. hmm
because I know that's the new, I don't want to say hustle, but it seems to be the new hustle. Break
hmm
generational curses with money, but nobody has good character or even tries to have good character. So you
Right.
basically just have hoodlums with money, hoodlums with like
Exactly.
a certain knowledge base, meaning they can speak in a way to like give people glitter, but their foundation is like worse than hell itself. So you're
hmm
very leery of certain things. Not saying they don't give good information, but every time you see a person whose foundation is, I'm just going to use comedic terminology because that's just how my brain works. It's phetic. So they stand on it's fat, but they're able to give like this great Jehudi esque type of dialogue and knowledge, but what they're really standing on, the stuff that you don't see in the dark, will always come to the light, meaning they're going to suffer like mental breakdown. Their erratic sexual habits are going to come up in lifetime. Because the
Mhm.
more public you become, the more public things become known.
Right.
And just a heads up, so you have to be who you say you are, or
Mhm.
it will show.
Yes,
It will
exposure
show.
for
And
sure.
especially when you're playing with spirit, you see a lot of mental breakdown. A lot of,
Mhm.
because African gods, they really don't play that. So eventually you will break. And that's
Yes.
okay, and that's a good thing.
Mhm.
Because you didn't go through proper initiation, maybe, or you tried to cut corners. And I want people to know in life, there's technically no cutting corners. Because you won't get anything beautiful like this cutting corners. This took
Yes.
some time to get it like this, just like
Mhm.
everything else. And I just wanted to add that out for the people, punch that in. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree.
What would you tell your 18-year-old self?
18-year me, 18-year-old me. A big thing that I would have shared with her, and her name was Sharon. I'm Eshe, so this is two different, beings, but still the young me is still in my heart. But I would have definitely stressed to her about what self-love is, because 18-year-old me was seeking love outside of myself. And it really got me into a lot of challenging situations. And, at the age of 18, I was literally getting ready to bring my first son into the world, but I was still a child at heart. I didn't even know myself. So I would definitely stress to her to accept herself and to heal herself. And I would teach her how to heal herself. I would teach her how to meditate. I would teach her how to calm those ruminating thoughts that was telling her that she wasn't no good and that nobody was going to love her and that nobody was going to stick by her. I would go in and teach her how to silence that nagging voice, because back then I didn't know how. And it really made me feel as though I was suffering from mental illness, because I was plagued with all of these thoughts that was coming in. And I didn't realize that I was under a spiritual warfare. I didn't realize that I had a lower part of myself. You blame everything on the devil. Oh, it's the devil. It's the devil. No, that was me. That was parts of my lower self. And that was trying to take over, that wanted to um, take over my avatar. These lower energies wanted to inhibit, just live inside of this temple and take me over. So I would teach her to become a spiritual warrior. I would let her know that love does exist, but love has to be within. Self-love is the best love. Having a level of self-love first um, is the best way to go. Creating a wholeness and a wellness within self, what that's going to do is to attract healthy, well people. But when you're sick on the inside, you can't do nothing but attract negativity to you. So I would have taught her the game of life. I would have just showed her all about love and healing, and let her know that she was important and that she was smart and that she was creative. And I would have encouraged her to tap into her creativity instead of, all of that other stuff, trying to, run behind people and, worrying about who said this, all of this type of stuff. I would have gotten her to tap into her creative spirit a lot earlier. And who knows, it's like, wow, if Dreamy Beats had have existed when I was 18, who knows where it would be now, but anyway, the biggest thing is love. Love thyself, know thyself. Um, and then from there, when you can love yourself and be whole within and have self-acceptance, man, that just opens you up, to many great things. So yeah.
I,
Mhm.
I like that a lot. I think, you know, what we're talking about is how to break a negative hypnotic rhythm, because
Mm,
hypnotic rhythm exists in nature, in the world, period.
yeah.
So she basically gave you a lot of jewels there to break a negative hypnotic rhythm. So when you're in that rhythm, you're going to attract things within that rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you magnetize everything, whatever rhythm you in. You
Yes.
magnetize strange people for whatever reason, whether good or bad, right? Because in nature, there's just some volcanoes exploding, some earthquakes happening, but there's a lot of beauty. So you're either going to be attracting more beauty or you're going to be attracting a lot more problems depending on the rhythm of life. You decide because everybody has to decide that at some point. And most
Absolutely.
people stay on that rhythm because they think it's cool. It's considered a bad. Some people think it's a badge of honor to be on a negative rhythm all the time, or it's like I like to call it aesthetic, chaotic, undisciplined, unnurtured, um, self-defeating, victimized rhythm in life.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to add that in, and I want everybody to know that you are the prize of creation. No matter
I
where you
like
are in
that.
life, you are the prize of creation.
Yes.
Um, what does legacy mean to you?
Okay. Legacy, when I imagine legacy, I do think about future, but it starts with the present. So in my mind, when I think about healthy legacy, because we can create negative legacies too. That's what we've done. But a healthy legacy for me would be me and my king and my children and whoever else is in my soul tribe. And we are building and cultivating a beautiful foundation of love, wisdom, knowledge, peace, healing, teaching conflict resolution, teaching how to eat healthier, teaching how to be creative and to be have a level of independence, but it's like a collective, you know, working within yourself, but it's for a collective effort. Of course, currency is a part of the legacy, creating something that can be generational wealth. We hear a lot of people talking about generational wealth, but like you were saying, it's great to pass that money down, but if we're not passing down um, the healing and principles of how we can come together to make this better, we're just throwing money to the wind, really, because the heart has to be cultivated. It's beyond financial abundance. The abundance has to be within. So to me, legacy is creating a environment or a culture of this abundant living and passing it on and realizing that what we're doing today is going to affect the future. So are we feeding the future, or are we stealing or killing the future with how we're conducting ourselves and being consistent with it, like constantly keeping that thought of legacy on our mind, and just continuing to build towards that in love. And also taking, principles from our past, our ancestors that were helpful, and incorporating that into the present, and then so it can be pushed on to the future, because we don't want to let go of, the good things that were given to us from the past, and just be focusing on, let me get this money, 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 money. But there is no, value system of the heart. And, like 42 principles of my art, having just creating a level of balance, like that has to be passed on to the children. Meditation practices, because they have to learn how to control, like I was talking about, that mind, just those thoughts. They have to be able to learn how to do that too, because as we know, this world is just getting more bizarre. It's just really becoming very bizarre. So they have to be able to deal with their own programming. But it all does start within the home. So we build the legacy currently to usher it on into the future. So I know that what I'm putting into my children, hopefully they will grab that and they'll give it to their children and give it to their children. And so now we have a different story, instead of that diabetes, heart disease, teenage pregnancy, my daddy went to jail, or not my father, but parents went to jail, parents were, drug addicts and all that type of stuff. Like, cut that and we can create like this brand new present future and usher it on. That's what legacy is to me, and doing it all in love and unity.
I really, I think that's a great example of legacy, especially the way you envision it.
Hmm.
And that's a great vision to have out there now. And I just want to simplify a little bit for the people.
Okay.
Forbes did an article, a survey about the amount of money people need to be happy. It was only 70,000 a year. Only
Okay.
70,000 for people to be happy. Because if you think
Hmm.
about it, if you're with your spouse, he makes 70, you make 70. You can do a lot of things.
Hmm.
So
Right.
all that like exorbitant stuff, which is fine, which is fine. I'm not anti. You want to rock that 24 karat necklace, go for it.
Right.
You want that Bentley coupe, go for it. You want that helicopter, go for it. You want that private jet, go for it. You want that 100-room mansion, go for it. We are not anti things here at the Millionaires Crew Club.
Right.
We're talking about something, the stuff money can't buy.
Hmm.
Character, soul friends, meaning because sometimes you just have blood, that's your family. But a lot of people don't realize their blood family was actually enemies from another time, somebody who killed you, and y'all got to serve this new life together. That's why sometimes you
Ooh.
go out of love with your sister or your brother, and you don't know why you don't like each other. So
Hmm.
that's a whole different type of examination. It's a good book called Many Lives, Many Masters. Check that out for people out
Okay.
there. So a lot of people be like, "Oh, I'm all about my family." Not really. The kid you could have brought in can become a serial killer. The son or daughter can become a cokehead and prostitute, all types of stuff. And guess what? That's called life. No matter how good, because you could have gave them everything and they return nothing. Or you can
Hmm.
give somebody nothing and they return with everything. So it just depends. It's always going to be that juggle because a lot of times we don't take the time to learn our children's sole purpose. And we tend to mold them in the same play that we're molded.
Hmm.
And that's a whole different story and issue. I'm just trying to break it down for the people, what you were saying.
Yeah.
Um, so we got one, most people will be happy with just 70K a year. Sounds crazy, but it's true.
Hmm.
Two, just because you have generational worth does not mean the next generation is going to even respect it and just piss it away. Most
Yeah.
generational riches are going after the first generation.
Hmm.
Only takes one generation. That's it. That's that. So you
Yeah.
worked, you lost time off of your life, you stressed, you die of a stroke or something hideous like that, and just for it to all be pissed away by the time your kid is um by the time your child is 60. You know what I mean? It's gone. That's it.
Hmm.
Um but character, keeping a good heart, keeping that heart light, self mastery, and two, learning that adversity is what make us diamonds, is what make us, it's the thing that make us who we are. The hardships, the arguments, the disagreements, the hitting our head against the wall sometime. When you don't take that good advice, right? You have to learn now to metamorph into what you said you didn't want to happen. Now you got to learn to master it. But I hope everybody through those adverse moments that you do become your diamond, or you do become solid gold, or your own
Yes.
road, and because that's very important as a human being. So the goal in life is good, but there's no book that said life should be easy. I repeat,
Hmm.
life is good. Hell, might be great, but there's nothing that says it should be easy, and it doesn't come with its own things to make you better, to make you better. Because the shoes that I wear probably could have killed you. The shoes that she wear probably could have killed me. So enjoy your adversity and seek the higher rhythm, the higher universal rhythm in your life. I think
Hmm.
ultimately that's what you're speaking about.
Yes.
So Bonus question.
All right.
Um, what's your top 6 albums?
My top 6 albums.
In no
Okay.
order. In no order.
No
No order.
order.
Just 6 albums that like, because we in the art right now, because life is art. So we do this in
Hmm.
a gallery. And music is a part of that life. So if you have to
Yes.
do a cool soundtrack of yourself with six
Okay.
albums.
Now, I might not have like the full album on some of these, but I could definitely give you some tracks, some
All right,
songs
cool. That's cool.
that would
So
go up there. But
let's throw out some songs. Let's throw out some songs. But if not
okay.
albums, at least some songs.
Okay, yeah. So I would say the one of the first ones would be Earth, Wind, and Fire, The Way of the World.
Hold on.
Love that.
Earth, Earth, Wind, and Fire. It's one of the most
Hmm.
powerful groups ever created under the sun.
Hmm.
I just want to put that out there. If you've never heard anything Earth, Wind, and Fire, Fantasy is my theme.
Ooh.
Is my theme in the stone. Be Ever Wonderful.
Oh gosh.
My pops played bass guitar, so I know a lot of music. So go on, I play
Hmm.
classical piano. But
Yeah.
yeah, Earth, Wind, and Fire. That's major. Go on.
Hmm.
I'm
I
excited
do
now.
love, I do love If This World Were Mine by Luther Vandross. That one, it always hits me right here. Another album, this is actually a full album. I really liked The Love Below by Andre 3000. I really enjoyed that.
The prototype. I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
I can't
for
sing, folks,
sure.
so if that hurt your ears, that's on me. I like this.
No, you fine. Let's see. I used to be a really big fan back in the day of Khalees, because I always thought she was really she was like a rock star, but like a melanated, she just had
She,
a lot of
she,
spunk
she was ahead of her
to her.
time. She was ahead of her
Yeah.
time. Like I see a lot of Khalees and Rihanna, but even though
Oh
Rihanna's her
yeah.
own person,
Mm-hmm.
Rihanna is just Rihanna. But
Mm-hmm.
like Khalees, I think she was a phenomenal artist, and
Mm-hmm.
I really liked her stuff when she was with the son Nas for sure. I thought they were
Oh
like
yeah.
good
Yeah.
tandem, together. Like they just look
Mm-hmm.
powerful next to each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, Khalees, like I think that you had the video box and you would order the song, and that I hate you so much right now, and what's the joint when she had like the Nightmare Before Christmas theme? You
Mhm.
took my heartbeat from me. What's
Yes.
that? Oh, and then the Neptune beats on her first album, even on her second album, like yeah, she was way ahead of her time.
Hmm.
Her time for sure.
Yeah.
Shout out to
She
Khalees.
was tight.
Yeah,
Yeah. She really had just, I just loved her. She was awesome back when she was doing her thing. I know she's cooking now. I'm like, oh, she has really flipped the script. She is like a culinary artist now.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So it's
called
still art.
evolution, though. That's called
Yes.
evolution. It's called
Really dope.
evolution. Because
Yeah.
most artists don't get past what 3 albums. So I think like
Mhm.
most artists when they get to 4 or 5 albums, that's the like the check off point. Minus like you're a super artist like Nas and Jay-Z and some other people like they're super artists. So that
Mhm.
longevity is always going to but you can feel the genius come off of some
Mhm.
people more than it all takes genius. But some people are like, it's like all things, sports, art. There's people they're up there, but then it's just people that's like, I don't know, the extra 1%, the extra 1 to 5%. That's just, and that's cool though. But they still, I want people to understand your plateau is still your plateau of your greatness, and that's all what you could ever do. So,
Mhm.
it's comparison is the thief of joy, and I want to put that out there. So what's that?
Mhm.
So we got
Well,
Earth, Wind, and Fire. We got Love Below, Andre 3000. We got Khalees. Okay.
mhm.
Still got some more to go.
So let's
Oh no,
see.
Luther. Luther.
Luther.
That was
We
mine
got
at 4.
Luther.
All right.
Yeah. Another one would be, this is one of my favorite songs of all time. It's a lot of, mostly instrumental, but it's called The Flight of the Blackbird by Zoe and Fonte. Um, gotta look it up. And when you look it up, it's BYRD. Amazing. It's an amazing song. I love it. Beautiful instrumentals, and it always gets me hyped. That's one of those songs I was like, if I need to get something done, I'm turning it on. If I need to work out, I'm turning it on, because it helps to raise the vibe. And another song would be I'd Rather Be With You by Bootsy Collins.
Epic.
I love it.
Epic.
I love it.
Epic.
Yeah.
Epic.
Epic. Yeah, I remember when I was little, I used to listen to the song and I'd be like, I don't think I'm supposed to be listening to this song, because it had like a, kind of like a sexy vibe to it or whatever. But when I got older, I knew I could understand what he was talking about. But I'd be like, man, there's something about that song. I love it. It's pretty dope.
It's my father would play that a lot. It's
Mm-hmm.
shout out to everybody that did drugs back then. Y'all was just on a different level because your talent matched your usage. Now it's usage and no talent, which is weird. But at least back then they were floating, like literally floating. That song sounds so magical.
It
So
did, doesn't
magical.
it?
When you listen to the live version that's here, that
Mm-hmm.
you find on YouTube, you're like, yo, I think this guy's high. Come on, baby. And I go like, whoa, you know what I mean? It's like super magical. Shout
Yes.
out to everybody from that time period. Because
Mm-hmm.
they used to, I think Bootsy Collins used to play for James Brown.
Okay.
And what happened was James Brown was so strict on them. Because he would fine them like $100. You 5 minutes late, $100 fine.
Mm.
You high, you look high, $100 fine.
Mm-hmm.
He was a perfectionist, and I think it allowed like somebody like Bootsy. He might not admit it. I don't think he's ever admitted in an interview, but that's what gave him that wild wave. Like people thought he was wild because
Mm-hmm.
his career was really based off that James Brown discipline. But I still think he kept those disciplines. He just decided to be more free because they were young. I think they
Yeah.
started with James Brown when they were like 16, 17. They were
Wow.
young. So that song comes out when they're like in their 20s. So it's a different vibe. They ready. They've been around the world, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the OG Bootsy Collins and the whole band, man. The whole band.
Absolutely.
That's love for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, I think that's it. Please, before we go, give your Instagram, give your email, and just say your last words, and then I'm gonna close it out.
Okay. And I have other platforms. I gave a couple, but I'm gonna just run them down real quick. So, like I said, on
Take your
Instagram, you can.
time. Take your time.
Okay.
Run
So
them down.
on
Running down smoothly.
run them down. All right. So on Instagram, it's Instagram.com/Dreamy Pisces. That's where you're going to be able to see a beautiful portfolio of all of my jewelry. It's laid out so nice. So you can scroll through. And if you see something that you like, and you might see, I gave a shout out to Brother Khepresh and said, thank you so much for your order. But you say, hey, I like that, or you like something else, but it was sent to someone else. A lot of the stuff can be recreated. That's the beautiful thing about this process. Or you might like that mala necklace and say, but I would like that with, some amethyst or clear quartz. I can do that for you. I do a lot of custom pieces. So Dreamy Pisces 80. I do have another Instagram that's gonna attach you to my podcast, because I do have my own personal podcast. That's going to be Instagram.com/Eshe, ESHE_speaks. And if you go to that site, you'll be able to click the link in my bio and listen to my podcast that I've been working on. I put a lot of great inspirational messages out there, a lot of truth, a lot of, heartfelt things, meditation, stuff like that. So feel free to check that out. My jewelry website that you can go to this evening or dawning whenever you listen to this or watch this is dreamybeads.com. And if you want to email me, you can go to Eshe Artz, that's ESHEARTZ@gmail.com. Hit me up, reach out to me. I love to communicate, with new people that are on this journey seeking, healing, love, peace, all that good stuff, all the good vibes. Hit me up and we can, communicate.
I love it.
Oh, last words too. You told me
Now, if
some
you got
last
something to
words.
say it for sure.
Yeah, I just want to encourage anyone. A big part of my journey is doing what has scared me, other than making the jewelry. Do what scares you. That's my message for anyone. If you have this desire, you're like, hey, I want to sing, but I'm scared. Hey, I want to do public speaking, but I'm scared. I want to do this, but I'm scared. Do it anyway. Do it anyway. And when you do it, get up there and give it your all. Stay consistent with your craft and your purpose. And when you do it, pull that divine inspiration, from the cosmos, from ancestors, from spirit. Just know that there are forces that are working alongside with us. They want us to succeed. They want us to do our best. They want us to light this world up while we're here, because we're not here just to take up space. We're not here just to sit in front of the TV. We're not here just to work a 9 to 5. We are here to create. Like you said, life is art, and that's what we are meant to do. So create art. Art comes in so many different forms, but just do it all from your heart. Don't be scared. Don't be fearful. Fear is an illusion. You are powerful. And that's all I have to say. Peace and power. And I appreciate you, Brother Khepresh, for having me to come up here and just share dialogue. I
Definitely.
love it.
Definitely.
Mhm.
Definitely. Eshe, it's been a pleasure. I'm Khepresh. Thank you for everybody for listening. I'm representing the Millionaires Crew Club, and just bringing you the dynamics of different. I call people craftsmen, and craftswomen, instead of businessmen and businesswomen.
Yes.
Craftsmen and craftswomen, you're handling business, but you're creating. Right?
Hmm.
I'm very happy to have this platform under the Millionaires Crew Club to bring you different creators. And I hope you enjoyed it, Eshe. She's amazing. Definitely check her out. Support, 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 support. And it's just always an honor for me to be in front of all of you. Thank you for rocking out with
Yes.
the Millionaires Crew Club. I'm Khepresh. Until next time, peace, power, one life, one love, and be great.